Alright, stopping recording.
What happens when a man with ADHD
and a man with full-blown autism start a wrestling podcast?
Insanity Works Studios
and JPW Studios
proudly present Wrestling with Idiocy.
Halloween Havoc 91. Oh god, the fucking nightmares. The nightmares.
Is somebody's PTSD acting up?
I almost saw Van Hammer kill someone.
Welcome to WCW in the early 1990s. And welcome to Wrestling with Idiocy, Episode 4. I don't know why you feel compelled to spend your time with us, but we're grateful that you do. I am the Wrestling Encyclopedia Casey Gallagher, one of your two co-hosts for this long-forgotten and abandoned corner of the internet.
And I am your other co-host, Thing 2, James D. Van Hebert. Hey.
Oh, fuck, I forgot we were doing the Thing 1, Thing 2.
I'm Thing 1, and I'm Thing 2. We're big fucking things. Fat things. Fat fucks. No, that would be our thing. Fat fuck 1, Casey Gallagher, and Fat fuck 2, James Hebert. Perfect.
You want to start over then and get that?
Nah, it's fine.
Okay.
Fuck it. It's Wrestling with Idiocy. Who cares?
That's a fair point.
So there we go. So yay, we got a great topic, and I don't need to do the screen share bullshit this time.
Yay!
Yay!
Simplicity!
Simplicity. Oh, man. So, yeah, what is the topic today? Because you have the topic list today.
Yes, I do. And, well, I don't have an actual list, but I did come up with today's topic, and James, for whatever fucking reason, agreed to do it. I don't know why he agrees to my ideas. We all know I have shit ideas when we're not booking the show.
Who said this was a shit idea? This is a good idea. I didn't say nothing.
Yeah, no, it's my words, not yours. But anyway, today's topic. Some of you, as I mentioned on an Indie Force Extra that we did, I believe it was prior to All Out this past September?
Something like that, yeah.
Where, excuse me, sorry, had a little bit of a beer before,
you're gonna sound like a frog again.
Oh, God. Where's my princess?
I don't know. Knowing us, probably all the way to the other side of the world. Because life sucks.
In my case, she's in Canada. I mean, what? Anyway.
Yes.
So as I said on that Indie Force Extra where we were predicting whatever we were predicting, I just know we were doing predictions for AEW, I said that between James and I, we've got almost right about 40 to 45 years of combined wrestling fandom between the two of us. Mm-hmm. And if any of you are of the curious variety, some of you out there might be wondering, how the fuck did that all get started? So that's what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking about how he and I got into each of the 7 current major wrestling promotions, those being WWE, WCW, ECW, even though that one no longer really exists. But you know what? The hell with it. It still left a major impact on the wrestling scene, so fuck it, we're going to go with it. TNA, Ring of Honor, AEW, and New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Yay! Good companies, kinda, sorta.
Well, 3 good companies and 4 that have really had their ups and downs.
Yes.
Actually, wait. 2 good companies and 5 that have really had their ups and downs.
Yeah, for the most part. Well, I mean, we say that, but I'm pretty sure New Japan also had their ups and downs as well.
You wouldn't notice them that much, mainly because they only started doing English
Mainly because
commentary kind of
Inoki
recently.
actually, yeah, and mainly because Inoki actually left.
Yeah,
So, yeah, those bad times were far, far forgotten after
yeah.
that.
I
But
mean, God,
yeah,
I mean, God bless Inoki for what he did for the wrestling business, but yeah, there's for a fact kind of remains he
I
almost ran New
wanted to
Japan.
have MMA fighter win the
Yeah,
IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. Yeah, no,
yeah,
I'm good.
that kind of almost killed your company.
The only one that worked for was fucking Brock, and then they just gave it to Angle right after. Ugh, fuck.
Not that Angle would not have made a fine IWGP champion in
And
his
he
day.
was, by the way. I actually think he was one of the better ones in the Inoki era. If they had to pick anybody, I would definitely. If they had to pick anybody from an outside company, I'd definitely go with Angle over
Yeah,
Brock,
because
especially in that time period.
that man could fucking work.
Yeah, 100%.
So anyway, we may as well start with, as Mike put it one time, the double double of air.
The double of suck. Yes.
Yeah, especially nowadays. But actually no, I'm actually going to start with WCW because that actually leads into how I got into WWE.
Okay.
So I'll let you go first this time, James. How did you get into WCW?
So when I was a kid, and I've told the story 100 times, I saw the Montreal Screwjob, my first ever wrestling event. I was kind of mad in a
And you
good
would have
way,
been,
and I was
and you,
I was like
yeah,
two and a half at the time.
yeah, you would have been like 2 and a bit
I
months.
knew the reality of what was going on, and the only
You
difference is I thought it was
somehow
real.
you somehow knew the reality of what was going on at 2 and a bit months.
That's about the only reality I knew, because everything else was too loud for me for some reason. I can understand wrestling, nothing else. But yeah, so I see that, and then so I'm like, I'm mad because my boy got screwed, and everybody keeps saying he's on WCW in my household. So I go and we watch WCW, and who do I find but the cruiserweights? And my boy Rey
Rey
Mysterio
Mysterio.
comes out. I don't remember who he's facing at that point. I don't have that much of a photographic memory, but I do remember that was my first time ever seeing Rey Mysterio Jr. and ever tuning into WCW, which is great.
And then, of course, you followed him to WWE and started watching WWE pretty religiously at that point.
Yes, because then that's when my markdom kicked in for Rey Mysterio. Because who's that jumping out the sky?
R.E.Y. Mysterio.
Here we go. So yeah, there you go. I really enjoyed his match, whatever it was. I was captivated as a kid because he was doing all this aerial moves, and I'm like,
He was basically being the little guy in a big man sport.
yep. And he was great at it. He still is.
Yep.
Still is.
Even though they fucked him over pretty solidly.
You could say that, but he's still in a main program. I don't know. I mean, the main program shit, but at least he's on TV still. At least he's having matches with Rollins.
Yeah, and from what I hear, all things considered, Dominic is actually doing all right for himself.
Dominic is doing all right in the current situation given, but he'd be doing so much better anywhere else. He's killing himself, by the way. He's actually having some of the best matches on WWE in this last year alone with Murphy, and they're busting their ass for nothing. Because, of course, they are.
Yeah.
But, yeah. That's when I discovered WCW. When did you discover WCW? You're older than me, so you probably remember more.
I honestly couldn't tell you the exact date or method by which I first discovered WCW, but my first vivid memories of WCW are of seeing Sting on TV. I don't remember what the fuck he was doing. I don't remember who the fuck he was up against. All I remember
Probably
is
Hogan. Probably Hogan.
who knows? Who knows? All I remember is I saw him on TV. Excuse me. He had the black and white face paint. He had the shoulder length hair. He had those piercing eyes. He had the baseball bat. He had the one piece that looked almost like fucking body armor, especially in the legs. He was the coolest thing I had ever seen at 6 years old.
Yeah, so that would have been Hulk Hogan.
And it was fucking amazing.
Yeah, he would have been probably playing the bad Hogan at that point.
And I have been a fan of Sting since.
There you go. So I've been a fan of Ray and mark out for him anytime he does a good thing, and you mark out anytime you see Sting.
And he was actually the first pro wrestler outside of Top Rope that I ever got to meet.
There you go.
That's
pretty rad.
Yeah. Funny thing is, I actually can tell you one particular episode of WCW Nitro that I did watch live. It's the only episode of Nitro that I can tell you that I can definitively tell you that I watched live.
Boy.
I don't remember exactly when this happened, but I remember watching the episode where Diamond Dallas Page opened and closed the show, respectively, by losing and then winning back right at the end the WCW World Heavyweight Championship.
Oh, you were in 1990, I think 9. Oh God, that's when Russo took over.
Yep.
Sounds like a Russo angle. I lose the
think
title
it was.
right then. Then I win the title right back afterwards.
Yep.
God. Fuck.
Yep, I watched that live.
How bad was that show other than DDP?
I honestly don't remember. All I remember is DDP. And I was a fan of his by that point. I can tell you that pretty well definitively. And again, much like Sting, I've been a fan of DDP's ever since.
Right. And that is fair. But my God, in 1999, that was your first Nitro that you watched live.
It wasn't the first Nitro. I don't think it was the first Nitro I watched live. It was the first Nitro I can definitively tell you I watched live.
Well, there you go. So that's when your memory kicked in, basically. It was so bad that it kicked your memory into gear.
Yeah.
That's what I'm getting out of this.
Yes.
2 podcasts in a row, I'm talking about shit areas of WCW. First in the Jim Herd era, now I'm talking about fucking Russo. Christ.
Yeah, go figure, huh?
Yeah, I'm glad I discovered Mysterio in 97 then. Probably for the best.
Mm-hmm. And, funnily enough, you mentioned discovering a guy that you then followed to WWE, which is how you got into WWE, so I guess you covered your 2 bases with 1 stone.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I knew about I watched WWE. Yeah, so I watched WWE with the Montreal thing.
Yep, Montreal Screwjob.
And then, because I was so mad at WWE at the time, how ironic, things don't seem to change too much. Sure. I didn't watch for a bit, and then I watched back again, I think around 2000, because I was hearing all the crazy shit. Keep in mind, it was 2000, so I was like 5 at this point now.
Yeah.
4 or 5. And wrestling's a cool thing we're talking about. And I'm hearing about these TLC matches, and I'm hearing about, Jericho.
The Hardys and the Dudley Boys and Jericho.
And I'm hearing about The Rock and Austin, and I'm like, I really don't like him, but I'll give it a shot. I'm glad I did. Because after Russo left, boy, did we get some amazing goddamn shows in 2000. Mm-hmm. On TV and on pay-per-view. My lord. Honest to God. And like, from top to bottom, most times, most weeks, great show all around. And yeah, I remember I saw SummerSlam, which was I think the first pay per view I ever watched at a friend's house in 2000, and the first TLC match officially was born. And my fucking god, some of the bumps are ridiculous even to this day. That made me cringe at that age. I'm like, that has to hurt.
Yeah, no
I,
shit.
I like it more.
Give me more. Give me more
I was
pain.
an anarchist as a fucking kid. Uh, no, I'm
Go
kidding.
fucking figure.
My favorite. I think I started. Even then though I wouldn't like watch religiously, but I did watch like on a pretty consistent basis. It wasn't until the brand split happened when I really started watching because
Because that's about the time Ray got in, right?
yeah, and the only time I was, and by the way, I was a poor kid, so the most we had when we weren't at some family's house was probably like local, antennas, something like that, antenna
Yeah.
TV. So we
So
got
you
SmackDown. So it wasn't until they did the brand split, and I think we started watching it around '03. It kind of fell out a little bit because just started waning in popularity. Thanks,
yeah.
Invasion, you fucks. Um, and I was like, you know, then I watch it because I hear my boy Ray's on SmackDown, and I'm like,
And then you
okay,
and then you
that's
discover
it.
the SmackDown 6.
Yeah, I think the first time I actually watched it may have not have been in '02, but it was in '03. I believe it was the night after Mania 19, and or no, it might have been it wasn't a night. It was whatever segment. I know it was in '03, where Hogan was at home, and McMahon was cutting a promo on him while Hogan was via satellite, quote unquote, apparently injured. And I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? He looks interesting. Hogan at the time. So I'm watching, and then I see Vince, and I'm like, I already hate him, just like I hated him when I was 2. And I'm like looking at him, and it's like, I don't even remember what he said. All I know is that Hogan was mad because he was injured, and then McMahon was trying to fuck with him. I think it was either after the Mania stuff, or it was like during the WrestleMania 19 build, where he was just at home. So it was in 2003, I think that's when I really started becoming a religious SmackDown fan. Then later I become a fan of WWE as a whole. Then I become a fan of pro wrestling as a whole. I think at around 13, something like that. And then, yeah, that's kind of where
Now when you say that you mean the age of 13, not 2013.
pretty much, yeah. Yeah. Keep in mind, right up until 2011. Actually, no, I can't even say that because I gotta thank my boys RVD Tito for life. 2010 probably. I knew about TNA, and actually, here's the thing. It was weird, right? So my first experience, and then you could talk about the first time you saw TNA. It would be a good segue. I'm watching the band get back together on TNA. I remember this vividly. The first time I tuned in to TNA wrestling in 2010. I hear that there's another wrestling promotion going on against Raw on Monday nights, and I'm like, oh, well, this should be interesting. Let me check it out. I immediately see this old fucks with this goofy fuck and Eric Young form the band. Or he was joining the band, or some other fucking bullshit. I don't remember. It was 2010 TNA, and it had to do with the band. And I'm like, nope. I just switched off. Went right back to Raw. I was like, nope. I was done. I saw these old fuckers, and then like, fuck this, I'll watch fucking John Cena in the Peanut Gallery. It was bad. and then I hear about all these great things about TNA, and I'm like, the first show I watched, I see old fuckers do shit. What are they talking about? So then I watch old TNA clips on YouTube. And then I discovered the Lethal Lockdown match. It was team. It was the one. It was the best one they ever did. It was Team Angle.
Versus Team Cage.
Was it Team Cage in 2007? It was 2007. I don't know if it was Team Cage. It very well might have. And holy shit, was that match amazing! Just, it was a spot fest, but it also told an amazing story that captivated me. And AJ Styles gets punched off the cage. He does a flip dive to save himself onto everybody else. And Angle just does this amazing flip off as he's pumped the fuck up. I'm like, oh, okay, I get it.
Okay, I get why people like TNA now.
I get why people like TNA now. And fuck the storylines. They're probably shit. It's the action. It's the action, 100%. My God, dude.
Hence the name, Total Nonstop Action Wrestling.
Dude, when I discovered the X Division, I had fantasies of what WWE's Cruiserweight Division and the TNA's X Division could do if they were just had like a one-off fantasy tournament. I remember, and for whatever reason, the match that was always my go-to was, what would happen if Rey Mysterio fought AJ Styles at that time period?
2007 Rey Mysterio versus 2007 AJ Styles?
Yeah, I was like, damn.
Would have been a fucking clinic.
Yeah. Man, it would have been great. Not to say they couldn't have the match now, but it's like...
It wouldn't be the same.
It wouldn't be the same, especially nowadays.
Because AJ's starting to get a little bit up there. Ray, as much as I love him, is well past his prime.
Actually, I don't even disagree. I think he's never looked better. It's just that he's in a garbage company. He can't show it off.
Yeah.
If you've seen his the best indication of that is his work in WCPW and All In specifically,
which I need to watch again.
Yeah, he did great in the WCPW Cup tournament. And yeah, he looked like he didn't age. It looked like he actually regressed his knee injury like by a couple of years. Like he never had it to begin with. He was great. It was like he was his old self again. I don't know if it may have had something to do with stem cell therapy or something for his knees. Probably, I would imagine, because my God, dude looked like, and by the time he came back for the Royal Rumble, dude looked like he was in the best shape of his entire life. Like, couldn't believe it. It was like, yay, it's my boy Ray. It's like real Ray, not like broken down Ray. Ray's back. I fucking marked, by the way. I can't even.
I would imagine,
dude. I was at Johnny's house when I was watching. I think it was 2018 Rumble, and I marked out so loud that I lost my head so many times because they included my boy in so many awesome spots. I loved the spot between the new era of guys and the ruthless aggression era of guys. I fucking love that goddamn standoff. It's one of the best moments in WWE history. I will even admit that even at that time period, that was fucking awesome. You had Nakamura, I don't remember if it was, I think it was Rude. And, who's the other guy? Who's the other guy? Was it Rude, Nakamura, and... Fuck, I don't remember the 2018 Rumble. I know the people on the Ruthless Aggression era side. I know it was Rude, and it was Nakamura. And then you had Mysterio, Cena, and Orton on the other side. I think it was Reigns. Reigns is the other one. So it was Rude, Nakamura, and Reigns. And they're staring down with Cena, Orton, and Mysterio, and I screamed so loud when they went to blows. I gave myself a fucking headache.
And I would have been there for this because I watched that Rumble, and that was the year. That was the year Nakamura won, right?
Yes, that was the year Nakamura won.
Nakamura and Asuka won the same year.
And then they buried both.
Yep. Now, I will admit, Nakamura went on to have a pretty damn good match with AJ Styles at WrestleMania.
Could have been better, though.
It absolutely could have been better, but for what we got, it was pretty damn good.
Yeah, there's a lot wrong with it. I think it's just the length of the show also really hindered it, but that's beside the point. I ain't got
Yeah.
time to criticize WWE bullshit.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Well,
what was the first time you discovered TNA?
I will actually get to that because it kind of ties back to WCW, and I kind of want to get WWE out of the way.
Go ahead.
So what happened was another WCW talent that I had grown to really enjoy watching, funnily enough, was Goldberg. Big bald guy with a goatee.
Fucking fair. That's honestly fair.
Yep.
That's fair.
And around early '99, I start hearing that WWE has their own bald guy with a goatee. So
Nice.
So
Nice.
I shit you not, that is literally my thought process.
That's
So
great.
so I asked a family friend who unfortunately is no longer with us to make me a tape of the first WWE event to feature this bald guy with a goatee that she can. That just so happened
To be stone cold.
main eventing with The Rock at WrestleMania 15.
Your dumb brain gave you a great moment to develop that brain.
Yep.
Ooh. Okay, that's great. That's actually great. Now, did you skip right to that match? I hope to God you didn't sit through that whole show.
Actually, I did, and I was just barely shy of 9, so I remember really enjoying it. Not really being able to process the bullshittery that was happening in front of me. I remember
Bart. All I have to say is poor
Bart Gunn. Yes.
Jesus Christ.
But no.
Just annihilates him.
Yeah. But no. What happened with that show was the other really vivid memory I have that I have as a reason of really enjoying WrestleMania 15. Before I had even gotten into WCW, I had at the age of like 5 and or 6, my grandmother would occasionally flip back and forth on channels late nights, and sometimes on Saturday night, we would catch WWE. The one faint memory I have of seeing WWE with my grandmother, seeing The Undertaker come out and do I don't know what the fuck.
Does anybody know what the fuck?
No, I mean, I literally don't remember what the fuck he did. I just know that I saw The Undertaker. And then the next memory I have is seeing Undertaker's hand come up through the dirt in a promo and hearing him say what I can only assume is, "Rest in peace." And at 5 to 6...
That had to have been the moment with Booker.
It was
either the Booker one or it was the one where he came up from the grave in '99. Those are the only 2 times he done that, I think.
It couldn't have been because I was like 4 or 5, maybe 6.
What year would that have been around those times?
From between 94 and 96. So
it would have been '94 that he first showed up out of the grave, and then
because
would scream,
the only
"The
thing,
Undertaker's alive!"
Yeah, because I can only assume it had to do with something with the Buried Alive match.
Yeah, that's it. Then that's the one.
Yeah, but I don't remember exactly what it had to be. All I know was I was freaked the fuck out.
As you should be.
As I should have been at 4, 5, and 6 years old. at
Totally off topic, but it relates to the Brothers of Destruction. Did you know when Chris was young, Chris Dodd, when he was young, he saw Kane unmasked for the first time, and he got so scared that anytime he would see him, he would hide.
I don't
No,
blame him. I don't
that's
blame him. I honestly don't blame him.
well, yes, as a kid, probably not.
Yeah.
He definitely was a scary looking dude, but I think a lot of that had to do with the red lighting, and then the red lighting isn't there, and then he's not as scary.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. That's pretty much how I came to rediscover him in like 2006 or 7. But no. WrestleMania. Funnily enough, WrestleMania 15 was actually the first time I saw Kane. Period. He took part in, I believe, a match with Triple H on that night.
Believe so. Weren't they doing that whole weird thing where he was trying to join DX, but they wouldn't let him join or some bullshit like that because Vince Russo doesn't know how to keep a competent storyline to save his fucking life?
The only thing I remember is, and again, I couldn't process this at the time properly. Um, Kane had a crush on China, and China had left DX before WrestleMania to join the corporation. In this match, China tosses a chair, and it looks like Kane's going to catch it. Triple H ends up grabbing it, and somehow or another he ends up whacking Kane with the chair. Triple H and China embrace. They have a promo with X-Pac, and later on the night, Triple H ends up costing X-Pac the European title by aligning both himself and China with the corporation.
Just that alone felt like a math problem that gave me a fucking headache. What the hell goes through Vince Russo's booking and his mind to fucking book that?
I honestly don't know.
Jesus.
But
the
hey,
fact that you remember that for detail. I mean, I would have just forgotten. It's like, oh yeah, this is the moment Triple H joins the corporation. I didn't know that China turned on him only for him to join back with China, for them both to end up at the same fucking destination. What the fuck is this? The political system?
Well, I did mention Simps in the last podcast.
Oh yeah, true. All right.
Anyway, but no. Getting back on track. This is the other vivid memory I have of really liking WrestleMania 15. It was the first time I saw The Undertaker and was not really scared of him, but rather got to look at him and go, dude, that's fucking cool.
So you went from scared to cool.
Yeah.
What did he do that was cool?
Just the look of the guy and the way his entrance was with the black lighting and the smoke, and he was hip deep in his Ministry of Darkness gimmick, so he had the robe and the satanic beard, and oh man, just shy of 9 years old, I thought that was awesome.
And then everybody in school probably looked at you like, he's the weird kid that likes The Undertaker. Don't talk to him.
Actually, no. People went, he's the weird kid that likes Pokemon and wrestling. Don't talk to him. Because everybody in my school liked Pokemon, very few people liked wrestling.
That's fucking funny.
Yeah.
Were you like one of those kids that just equated any wrestler into a Pokemon?
Actually, no.
Or did you equate Pokemon to wrestlers?
No. I just liked both and would talk about both. And people thought it was weird for me to mention Pokemon and wrestling in the same breath.
That's crazy. How did that happen? How does that even happen where you mention Pokemon and wrestling in the same breath?
I would switch topics, and because that's how my brain would leak.
So you just randomly brought up to strangers, hey, have you ever seen that wrestling shit where the Undertaker like tombstones a fucking dude? Have you ever seen the big boss man get hung by the Undertaker?
Also, wasn't that episode of Pokemon awesome last Wednesday?
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that was pretty much how it was to talk to me in 1999.
Oh my god. That's fucking funny.
Yeah.
So
I had that. So I had that tape of WrestleMania 15. I watched that for about a month.
right.
This family friend saw that I was enjoying the hell out of the tape, so she made me another one. Backlash 1999.
Hey. It's a good show. It's a
Very
good
good,
show.
very good show with a really weird ending.
Yeah, we don't talk about the ending. That's Vince Russo all day.
Yep. But aside from that, great show.
Yeah. So
And
I guess we move on to
and that's
another
pretty
one?
much how I got into WWE.
And at that point, it was the double of F.
Yes. I wouldn't watch very often because I had a bit of an imagination as a child, and with a Hulk Hogan Wrestle Buddy, if you remember those plushes,
Oh, fuck.
I would play around with it in wrestling fashion. And
Oh, okay. I got scared for a second. I'm like, I'd play around with it, and then you pause, and I'm like, whoa! Whoa!
that is information I did not need to know!
I didn't know you needed to hump your wrestling buddy's case.
Yeah, no.
No.
But all
good.
the same, my mother was very concerned. So there was a period where she wouldn't let me watch wrestling.
Oh, that's sad.
So sad for me.
Why? What was the thing about it? What the hell were you doing to the wrestling buddy?
I was giving it stunners and suplexes and some format of submission holds. And she was afraid it would affect my schooling. So
How?
I don't know. It was the 2000. It was 2000. Everybody was scared of everything.
Yeah, no, it was the 2000s. Everyone was scared of everything because the media sucks. Got it.
Yeah.
Nothing's really changed too much.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So when did you get back into watching wrestling again?
About 2005, 2006.
Oh, so brand split time.
We were a little deep into the brand split, yeah.
So
the first two things I remember watching when I got back into wrestling were WrestleManias 23 and 21 in that order.
Oh, that's weird. So I guess you watched 23 first and then watched 21 after?
And then 22, yes.
Ah.
Around that same time is when I discovered TNA.
Ah. And your immediate thoughts about it?
The first TNA match I saw was Lockdown 2006 X Division Escape.
Ah, was that the weird red cage?
No. This is long before they had the red cage.
Thank God.
Yeah. No, this was the match that had Chris Sabin, Chase Stevens, I'm trying to think who else was in that match. There was Elix Skipper, Petey Williams, and there were two other guys. I don't remember exactly who, but I remember there was a point where Scott D'Amore was telling the commentary team how he and Simon Diamond had worked out that Elix Skipper and Petey Williams were going to team up until it came down to the two of them. and then they would settle it mano a mano.
Right.
3 eliminations in, and Petey Williams pins Elix Skipper.
Okay. And I guess
So
they turned on each other?
they were about to, but somebody came flying out through the cage and knocks Simon Diamond, I think, off his feet, and then it just dissipates from there.
Ah.
Also, at some point during the match, Chase Stevens gets on the top of the cage and does a suicide jump onto the group.
Yeah, it sounds like a TNA match.
Yep.
Do dives, do flips, do this shit.
Do hesitation drop kicks if you're Chris Sabin.
Kick the shit out of each other. And then
Yeah.
flip.
And
do
then
a
I think,
flip.
yeah, it
Dude,
was down
that should
to
have been their tagline. Fuck cross the line. TNA Wrestling. Do a flip.
yeah. So anyway, the match comes down to Chris Sabin and Petey Williams. They're both on the outside of the cage. Chris Sabin is stopped by Scott D'Amore, and
Yeah.
it looks like there's a clear line for Petey Williams to get out of the cage.
Yeah.
Somehow or another, it ends up with Petey Williams on Scott D'Amore's shoulders, stuck, while Chris Sabin jumps off the cage to get the win.
Huh? That sounds crazy, you know. I might have to actually watch this. This sounds like a crazy-ass match that I should definitely watch.
It's pretty fun. It's pretty fun for all the bullshit.
Okay.
So, yeah, absolutely, give it a watch.
All right.
So I would find that event on DVD later on. And somehow or another, before I found that DVD, I found out. Remember how I said I was a big fan of Sting?
Yep.
I found out he was in TNA.
There you go.
I went, oh shit, I need to watch this.
So then you found out how to watch it weekly, I assume?
Not really. I even though I did have like Spike TV at the time, I didn't watch it weekly. I would tune in and out like most other things.
Yeah. Because you're just like...
I'm weird like that.
Yeah, you have ADHD, so you can't keep attention to one thing.
Yeah, no. I could not keep attention to one thing for very long.
Although, would you say that changed with WIW in a way?
Yeah, that absolutely changed with WIW.
So, yay! WIW changes people to have good habits, kinda, sorta.
Not really.
Not really.
Anyway.
No, but, yeah, I think I talked about the first time I watched TNA. Yours sounds a lot more pleasant than mine.
Yeah, it was. Like, it absolutely was.
Like, yours was... I don't know if you watched... Oh, did you ever watch TNA Weekly, like, or even during a week where you decided, fuck it, I'm gonna watch some TNA, and then it was the 2010s or 11s?
I think it actually was 2009 or 10. The one time I remember seeing TNA in that era, I was living with my dad, and he had gone to sleep. I tuned into TNA, and the first thing I see, I don't remember who's across from them in the ring, but I see Jimmy Hart and the Nasty Boys in the ring, and I went, the fuck?
Oh,
when did this happen?
Oh no, I remember this episode. This is when they were trying to challenge the Dudleys. Oh god. Yes, I do remember this now. I didn't even know who the Nasty Boys were at that point, because they were only in WCW for like a cup of coffee. Yeah. And then I saw those fat slobs there. That was my initial thought when I watched it. I'm like, who the fuck are these fat losers?
It's you and me.
Yes. Yes, it is. Except we're not in the ring and never will try to be.
Although, were we to do that, which of us would be knobs and which would be sags?
Which one acts more autistic?
I think you.
I'm saying which one acts more autistic out of them two.
Oh, that I couldn't tell you.
I feel like it's the one with brown hair. That would probably be him because then isn't he less fat and more wide
I
for
think
whatever
so.
reason?
I think so. Not
Yeah,
100%.
I'd be the brown haired one.
Haven't laid eyes on the Nasty Boys in a very long time.
Who cares at that point? Yeah. I'll be the weird one, and you be the wider one.
Yeah.
There, done.
So, also right around that time that I discovered TNA, I was watching ECW, WWECW on a semi-regular basis.
Oh.
My most pleasant memory of watching WWECW, hilariously enough, besides Kelly,
Yes, because if you're a kid, if you're a teen and you saw Kelly, spank bank time.
yep, pretty much.
Anyway.
And my most pleasant memory, other than that, of watching WWECW is an Extreme Rules match. Rob Van Dam versus
Sabu
nope,
Sandman.
nope, nope,
Oh.
nope. Rob Van Dam versus Hardcore Holly.
Oh, the one where he slices his back.
Yeah.
The
What
only real extreme moment in that version of ECW.
what a fucking gutsy performance from
Yes.
Hardcore Holly that night.
Yes. That is fair. I agree. That is fair. But wow. Oh man, I can't believe your first discovery was for ECW was that fucking tragedy.
Yeah.
The bastardized version.
Yep. Of course, much later on, I would go back. I would be able to go back. Good to see. This is the only thing the network is good for.
Yeah, right.
I would be able to go back and watch the true ECW and find out. Oh my God, this is what I missed.
Yeah. Yeah, and then you watch the bastardized version and you're like, why did I like this as a kid? And
Yeah.
you just kind of look at yourself in the mirror. It's like, I
I'm
did
a
hate
fucking
me.
idiot.
I'm a fucking idiot. I did hate myself as a kid. No wonder I got bullied. That would be the first thing. No wonder everybody's just like, he likes the dumb wrestling. Don't talk to him.
Yep.
Oh fuck,
Yeah.
dude. It's sad. Funny enough, my first exposure
To
to
ECW.
ECW was One Night Stand '05 and the build up to it.
Which, funnily enough, I discovered not too far after I watched the Hardcore Holly match, and
I was so mad.
through the Sandman entrance.
I was a kid when Angle did it. Angle did the thing with Taz where he just laid him out for no reason, and I was so mad. I was so angry at what they did to poor old Taz. And then he comes out looking like a badass out of hell, coming straight for Kurt. In the midst of chaos as the ECW invaders destroy the freaking SmackDown B team, and I was like, I gotta see this show.
The Jobber Squad plus Edge.
Yeah, dude, when I tell you, I was enthralled from beginning to end with ECW One Night Stand 2005.
I can absolutely say the same.
Dude, when I saw that, I'm like, all right, that's it. I'm watching whatever ECW was, and I remember I studied tapes and just whatever I could get my hands on that had ECW. I think the Rise and Fall came out, so I got that, and I watched the matches on the other two discs.
Yep.
I watched. What else did I watch? I know I watched some of the pay-per-views wherever I could find them because YouTube was at its like infancy at that point in '06, right after a year after that.
Yep.
So I was trying to find them any way I could, and I even just because out of faith. I loved ECW even in its bastardized version. That's how much of an ECW mark I was.
Yeah.
I just take whatever the fuck was spoon fed, and then thank God Punk opened my eyes.
Yep.
Because Jesus Christ, for whatever reason, I would have reacted hard. I reacted as hard to Sheamus beating down some weird, I think Shelton Benjamin in 2009 than I would when Dreamer poured a beer for a fan in Heatwave '98. It was, my God, I was a fucking weird kid. I loved all. The only problem is I didn't know what else wrestling was except for whatever WWE had. So other than WCW, obviously before WWE owned it.
Yep.
So like WCW, ECW, WWE. That was it. That was it. That was all my
Mm-hmm.
exposure.
Yep.
Um, but then, and I know that you didn't have this in your list, but because I'm such a mark for Mysterio, I also discovered a lot more ECW in the Psychosis matches he had in ECW. For the
Yep.
short stint he was there. Along with those, I discovered AAA.
Ah.
And it was a 6-man match. I believe it's the first match on Rey Mysterio's Biggest Little Man DVD. And I think it was a 6-man tag, lucha tag match. And I couldn't believe how, I think Rey was like 16 at the fucking time. And I'm like, what the fuck?
He's 16 and he's doing all this?
Yeah, I was like, dude. And then I saw the WCW matches that he had, the ones on Nitro, and this one of them obviously included in the best of Rey Mysterio matches in that Biggest Little Man DVD
Yeah.
is the match he had with Eddie Guerrero, Halloween Havoc, 1997. Oh my God, what a goddamn classic!
I'm gonna have to watch that.
Dude, it's so good. If you have not watched it, you have to. One of the greatest, honestly, if not the greatest, cruiserweight matches, high-flying matches
All right.
of all time.
Well, so add that to the list of matches that I apparently must watch.
Dude, you gotta watch...
Which currently stands at 3 that I know of. There may be more, but not 100%.
Watch that one and watch the matches he had with Dean Malenko as well, because those were fucking great too. For like how good of a heel Dean Malenko was at a methodical pace.
Yeah.
To ground a high-flying Rey Mysterio, it really got you angry if you're a Rey Mark, but watching it back now, it's just brilliant fucking psychology.
Yes.
Absolutely brilliant psychology.
Yeah.
And one more match that, if you have not watched a lot of the Cruiserweight matches, definitely give Eddie Guerrero, Dean Malenko a shout if you haven't already.
I saw the Malenko Guerrero Classic in ECW.
I would watch there is a specific one on Nitro that's even better than that, if you can believe it. It was they anytime you put those two in the ring, you're bound to get a fucking classic. But
yes,
Eddie Guerrero and Benoit's matches were also really freaking good.
Speaking of Benoit, he's also on the list of matches that I apparently really need to watch. Who did he have that 30-minute Ultimate Submission match with?
Kurt Angle. My God. Best Iron Man match I've ever seen. Because it is an Iron Man. Everybody's like, oh, but Brock Lesnar and Kurt Angle, is the greatest Iron Man match of all time. I'm like, it's because Benoit did what he did, and no one gives this the time of day anymore. This is so criminally underrated. The greatest Iron Man match in the history of WWE. It may be the greatest Iron Man match, period. It was that fucking good.
And then
it just looked like a damn struggle, but it was so goddamn smooth. Every aspect of that match is phenomenal. It's Backlash 2001. I mean, the show itself was also really good, but that was like the one match that was just fucking great. It's just that's the one that steals the show. I don't know how it didn't win a Match of the Year candidate. I don't get it. One of the best matches I've ever seen.
And then the third match that I know of on that list is, I want to say it's the I Quit match between John Cena and JBL.
No, you watched that. You told me you watched that, didn't you?
No, no. I would like to watch that. Is that the one where John Cena completely gaffs himself open?
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, pretty much the same way Eddie Guerrero got busted. Yes, it was the same way. I would highly suggest watching. It was Judgment Day '05, I believe. Yeah, it was. I personally, and I think we talked about this when we were talking about the pay per view sets.
Yeah, we did
The whole, if they ended it with, if they had that match at
at
Mania and then they had
WrestleMania.
the Hell in a Cell match at Mania between Batista and Triple H, would have been the best Mania of all time.
Yeah.
Like, easily best Mania of all time. Uh, what's next on the list? We're talking. We covered WCW, ECW, TNA, WWE.
Let's move on to Ring of Honor because I believe that is the promotion we discovered next in our timeline, in our respective
Right.
timelines.
Yes.
It's definitely the one I discovered next in my respective timeline. At least in
First
terms of
time.
major, at least in terms of major wrestling promotions, because
Right.
in between TNA and Ring of Honor, both of us discovered Top Rope Promotions. That's how we met.
Yes. So yeah, I was watching. Um. I
Well,
remember I
first of
was
all,
watching YouTubers. This is
well,
how I
yeah, I was
discovered
gonna
them.
say, I was gonna say, first of all, we said this 100 times, but the first Ring of Honor, the way we discovered Ring of Honor was through Best in the World 2017.
Yeah, we'll get to that for
And
sure.
but I was gonna say, it's pretty common knowledge that I had a ticket and I said, wait a minute, I know somebody that'd love to go to this, so I called you.
Yeah.
What were you doing at the time that I offered you the ticket for Best in the World?
Well, everything's a blur during that time period. All I know is I hated my life.
For
I,
myriad reasons.
for a myriad of reasons, one of which being my ex. Um, and my home life was also in shambles. I was working a 9 to 5 daily job that was always constantly fucking stressful. And I was like, well, I actually have some spending cash for once in my life. Why the hell not? Let's do it. So I never ever would have thought in a million years, because around this time I was falling out of wrestling completely. I think a lot of that had to do with the fact that WWE was absolutely god awful and I had no way else to access anything. But I knew of the history for some reason because I loved Ring of Honor. This will kind of tie back into when we did the whole Best in the World 2017. First time I ever discovered Ring of Honor was through YouTube channel, and it was a guy. It was a YouTube channel known by the name of RVD Tito for Life. I think it's changed now because the guy who runs the account changed it to something else. But I'm still subscribed to him, and I check out anytime he's live, and him and I chat every now and again. But I remember it was these two guys named Bill and Doug, and they would always talk about Ring of Honor shows and TNA shows. And so I never watched a Ring of Honor show, but I would always hear them talking about it because it was just captivating hearing them talk about how great the show was. And then I remember they talked about Sting and Generico in the Ladder War, and then I watched it. And I
Wait,
fucking
Sting versus
no
Sting
no
versus
no. Sting versus Generico. Steen.
Oh, Steen, Kevin Steen.
Yeah,
Okay, all
Kevin
right, yes,
Steen.
yes.
Steen
Kevin Steen and
versus
Sami Zayn.
Generico. And I just watched them go to fucking war, and I'm like, this was fucking awesome. And at that point, I remember I could watch any Ring of Honor match I could get my hands on at the time, which wasn't much because Ring of Honor wasn't like exactly popular. And
Yeah.
I'm sure you had to pay like a fuck ton of money to watch their shit. Around that time, around the HD net days, if you remember how tragic those were looking
Oh
back.
God.
So when you told me Ring of Honor was coming to town, did not even know the card because at that point, as I said, I was falling out of wrestling, but I did know what was going on. I was kept up to date with the news, and for whatever reason, I discovered a lot of the indie news, and I saw that AJ Styles and the Young Bucks tear it up with the Kingdom, and I'm like, and Ring of Honor, I'm like, Oh, wow. Ring of Honor's getting some New Japan talent. I thought AJ was still in Japan. Apparently, New Japan and Ring of Honor had a working relationship
at that time. Yeah.
at that time. And I'm like, and I think they do again now, now. But anyway, I watched the 6-man match. I'm like, fuck, this is awesome. And so, I was falling out of love for it because my ex was, in a sense, kind of bearing anything I had an interest in, for reasons I just won't get into because fuck that. So I was like, when you called me for the Ring of Honor show, I'm just like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna have fun for once.
Yeah.
So I go and do it.
Before you do, I need to say this one very specific thing.
Yeah.
I found out about Ring of Honor coming to the area because by that time, I was a huge Vinny Marseglia fan, thanks to Top Rope.
Yes.
And excuse me. And I knew that was where he had ended up. So I tweeted him because I wanted to see him in action again, and he told me about Best in the World. That's how I found out,
bro.
And
yes,
and that's basically the whole reason I wanted to go to the event in the first place, was to see my boy.
Yeah, and that's
never once did I imagine the show we were in for that night,
bro. This is the show I will dub the genesis of AEW. This was that fucking show.
Yeah.
Not even just the genesis of AEW, but the genesis of NXT on USA. Because a lot of the guys that we saw on the string of shows,
because there was Best in the World. Yeah, because there was Best in the World, and then the next night they taped 5 episodes worth of ROH television.
Right. And I remember I was like, well, this looks like it's a packed house in this little bingo hall here.
Yeah.
This feels like ECW vibes.
It does.
And my God, what a phenomenal show from top to goddamn bottom.
Yeah.
Was Best in the World.
2017 at the
Dude,
Lowell.
I highly suggest to everybody watch Best in the World 2017. One of the best shows I've ever been to live.
And not just because Cody flips me off 5 minutes into his match.
Yes, that was phenomenal.
Whole friggin' bingo hall popped for that.
Dude, when you got flipped off, I'm like, no!
That's my boy!
Yo, I was dying. I was on my fucking chair. I was creasing when that happened. I was like, holy shit. So yeah, I kid you not. And I mean this, like, it's one thing to watch, like, I kid you not, when I first got to that building, I was like, wow, this is really, really cool. I like the arena style. I don't know what it was, but, like, anytime I'm in a wrestling arena live, it ignites my love for wrestling again, even before the goddamn show starts. Yeah. And I remember a guy coming over, and he was, like, asking questions. Don't even know who the guy is, by the way. I don't remember
he was.
his name.
I think he was one of the. I think he was a backstage hand for ROH. It's
I
the
believe
black
so.
Guy. It's the black guy with the red tux, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember him.
So he comes over and he asked me specifically, and you probably would know more than me because you have a better photographic memory. And he was asking me, who did the Bullet Club face, or who did the what was the first 6-man tag match or whatever?
He either asked you who were the first 6-man Ring of Honor. Who were the first Ring of Honor 6-man tag team champions?
That was it.
It was either that or who are the longest reigning Ring of Honor 6-man tag champions. And you answered correctly with the Kingdom.
And he said, that is correct. You have now just won 2 more tickets to Ring of Honor television. I'm like, holy shit, we got another night. We got another night of this.
And it wasn't just that. it was tickets to the next night for 4.
Yeah, for 4.
So we brought along Victor and who else?
I think Victor and Ori.
Yeah, it would have been Ori. Yeah.
Yeah. And I remember it was Victor and Ori because I remember Victor was just like, we were coming up with finishers for, now it's the Cody Cutter because I'd never seen Cody do the Cody Cutter up until that match. Because usually he would come off the ropes to do the disaster kick, but he did the Cody Cutter. And I'm like, what should we call the cutter that Cody does? And I remember Victor just replied with, the end of the road.
That's actually a pretty good name. That's actually a good name.
Fuck. Yeah, but the way he said it was just comedically bad, which was the point. But
and then of course on the way home that night we all almost crashed because getting Facebooked by chicken nuggets.
Yeah, can we not bring that up every single time? That's a long story. We don't need to talk about it. We're just really fucked up individuals, and I'm sure Cody, if Cody is even watching this, which I know he probably would if I send this to him because he knows the show we're talking about, he's like, what the fuck? Face fucked by chicken nuggets? What the fuck's wrong with these kids?
Don't ask, Cody. Don't ask.
Don't ask. You don't want to know. A lot. But, yeah, man. Just from top to bottom.
What's wrong with
match.
Us? It's like, what's wrong with us? Less than you think, but more than you know.
One of the best matches I've ever seen was when Frankie Kazarian and Hangman Page, my first discovery of Adam Page.
Yep.
Fucking great. Such a great, I think it was a strap match, and they brutalized each other. Another great match was Silas Young versus Jay Lethal.
So good.
Very good match. I love these.
Kota Ibushi was also on the card, if I remember correctly.
Yes, you're right.
It was either Kota Ibushi or Kushida.
I think it was Kushida. I don't remember who he exactly fought. But I do know that we also I think Jay White. He may have fought in Jay White. I don't know if it was Jay White or not.
It might have been actually. Yeah.
I do know that Jay White. This was pre-Switchblade Jay White.
Yeah.
So he was just breaking in.
Yeah.
And I remember the three-way tag match between Best Friends, War Machine, aka War Raiders, aka Viking Raiders, and the Young Bucks. Wow. Just insane, awesome stuff in that match.
And then of course there was, I believe, a 6-man tag between
8-man tag
between somebody and somebody else versus, I want to say,
I know the 6-man tag team title match. It was Dalton Castle and the Boys versus
that's what I'm trying to think of.
Bully Ray and the Briscoes.
Yep.
Just all sorts of fun.
Yep.
That was great.
Seeing Bully Ray throw Dalton Castle's own pose back in his face. I marked the fuck out.
That was fucking hilarious. Bully Ray's a phenomenal damn worker, man. He's one of the best in the damn business at what he does. And I have a story on that whole thing, too. I know this turned into the Ring of Honor Best in the World show, but fuck it. When we were out in the parking lot after the show ended, I thought I saw you, and it turned out it was Bully. And I'm like, hey, yo, what's up, Bully? And he's like, what's up with you? Did you enjoy the show tonight? I was like, yeah, man, that was one of the best shows I've ever been to in my life. He's like, glad to hear it. And I extend my hand out. He's like,
and he goes, wait, I'm from New York. We don't do handshakes. We do fist bumps.
He doesn't just, he's like, I'm from New York, and real men don't shake hands. They fist bump. And I fist bumped them. I swear to God, the most intense stare happens.
Bro.
He just looks at me.
Bro, like, the next day, because you told me that story later, and I went and saw him the next day at the TV tapings, and I remembered that, and I went to fist bump him. It was probably the most intense fist bump I've ever experienced.
Dude, he fucking fist bumped me, and he just looks at me dead with the most intense look. I'm like, I was just smiling the whole time, and he's just like,
and
good to meet you.
Speaking of,
And
Bully
then for
Ray.
some reason, by the way, for some reason, before you continue, for some reason, after I fist bumped him, he's like, "Oh shoot, I forgot to ask him. Hey yo, I hate to ask you this, but have you seen a dude in a Vinny Marcellia T-shirt? And he's like he's a bit bigger than you." And he just goes, "Oh yeah, no, he's in there. He just said he was going to get a drink real quick." And I'm like, "Oh okay."
Oh, so he remembered me?
Apparently, I don't know if you talked to him in passing.
No, I didn't. I didn't get to meet him until the next day.
Well, there you go. He must have saw you go get a soda, because I remember he came out with a fucking jug of shit.
Yeah, I did.
So there you go.
And then the next night, as it turned out, Bully Ray was not the only ROH star we would run into in the parking lot.
Oh, man. We'll talk about that. But first. When I saw Cody win the championship,
we all marked the fuck out.
Dude. Such a fucking thunderous pop.
Oh, it was deafening in there.
Dude, it was his first world championship. It was such a huge moment. Such a goddamn huge moment.
And well deserved.
Well goddamn deserved. And I was losing my mind, and I remember thinking in my head, holy shit, I'm seeing Chris Daniels defend the world championship against
Cody Rhodes
on pay-per-view. Two guys that in two different companies prior to this never got a fair fucking shake. Ever. And I'm watching them in the main event, and I loved every minute of it. I know it wasn't even the best match on the show, but it deserved the main event for the fucking pop it got when Cody pinned Christopher Daniels. Absolutely lost my mind when he won that championship. I was like, God damn it, yes, about time.
Yes.
I saw the man cry. I remember I got the best image. I don't know if it's even in my phone now. I don't know if I posted it on my Facebook or somewhere. I got the best image of the entirety of the Bullet Club, Marty Scurll included, the Young Bucks, Adam Page, and Marty Scurll.
And they've
Cody.
all got Cody up on their shoulders.
Yeah, and I'm like, holy shit. What fucking visual.
That is a moment in time right there.
Dude. Fucking, and then I got them right on the ramp when there was enough space to just go down there. I'm like, I have to watch this up close and see him hold the belt. And he did. I'm like, that was so damn cool.
Yeah.
And then next night, when we're there, and it's you, me, Victor, and Ori, and I'm like, I see Cody. Somebody tells me, for whoever was passing me, Cody's just taking autographs right now, for free.
And you go, what the fuck?
What? He's taking pictures for free. I'm like, zipped right over, and sure enough, he got a fucking line right in the front hall of the arena. Just talking to fans for free. The world champion of Ring of Honor is talking to fans for free. No one else was doing that, and I understand because it's a business at the end of the day. But he did. And I'm like, holy shit. And I walk up to him, and I talk to him about the Cody Cutter spot. And I'm like, and because if you remember, he got like a busted lip because he hit the chair wrong because there was a chair in the ring when they did it.
Yep.
And I'm like, yeah, I just landed wrong. You know, what can you do? I did hit it, though, and it got me the title, and that's all that matters.
Yep.
And I got the picture with Cody, and it's such a
And then
great
you
picture.
called me.
And then for whatever reason, my gears started turning. I'm like, oh, fuck, Casey. I rush over to you, and I'm like, you got to come over here now because he's about to leave. He's taking autographs and pictures on the floor right now. He's with security. I'm like, Cody, wait. I got a person you might want to see. And then he looks over, and he's just like, you're the guy I flipped off, aren't you?
And this is after he had already two-sweeted me in front of the at the front of the crowd.
Yep.
And then again in the autograph line, because I got him in the autograph line, and I got a two-sweet there.
Yes.
So in the space of like 2.5 hours, I got closure, and then when I met him in the hallway, I went to two. You remember this as vividly as I do. I went to Too Sweet. We went to Too
You
Sweet,
went to Too Sweet him.
and
And then you fucking had the tides turn on Cody and you flipped him off.
and
I have
he
this.
laughed.
I have footage. In fact, roll it right now. There's the footage for you. He flipped him off just like he did on the Best in the World show, and then he gives him a fucking hug.
I got
That was incredible.
I got closure, payback, and respect from the Ring of Honor World Champion
Yeah.
in the space of 2.5 hours.
I was like,
shouldn't be afraid of him becoming champ. The board of directors should not be afraid of that man becoming champ, but they are. He's on to something. He knows what he's talking about. It sure is.
There it is. Did you get it?
I'm getting it now. Getting it now.
Nope.
Oh! The meme. The meme.
Sorry about that. Hey, it's okay.
Right.
Sorry about the delay.
Hey, it's all right. It's all right.
Enjoy the rest of your night, my guy.
You got that?
Yeah, I got that.
Oh shit! What the fuck is life?
dude, I couldn't believe that. And I was just like, yeah, I'm the biggest Cody fan ever. It's no wonder why he's so popular in AEW, dude. It's fucking, it's obvious. He's like, such a fan-friendly guy, and
he's like the nicest guy ever.
Dude, it's you can't not like Cody. You just can't. He's so appreciative of like everything he has.
Yeah.
And it shows. It just radiates off him.
It does.
It really does.
And every waking moment, you just want to tell him, dude, your dad would be so proud of you.
Dude, oh my God, dude, he would look down and be smiling from ear to ear, like, I raised you right, son.
I raised
you right.
I raised a good kid. I raised a good, strong kid.
Fucking unbelievable show that I ever saw. And, by the way, it kind of relates to NXT as well, because the first time I ever saw NXT was kind of in a similar fashion with Ring of Honor, was, I believe it was Our Evolution. And
It's the same with me.
And ironically enough, both shows involved Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens in some fashion. In some fashion. And I remember becoming an NXT mark. So it's like, it's insane. Like, it's like, ever since the Punk pipe bomb in 2011, he mentioned New Japan Pro Wrestling and Ring of Honor, and I'm like, and by the way, that was my first, that's how I got back on topic now, finally. That's how I actually discovered New Japan, was because Punk mentioned it in the promo. And I discovered a little later after the fact, because I always said I wanted to check out New Japan. And I remember I was, moving into my new room when they finished it up, but I had to be in a small side room. You know which one I'm talking about. It was a pain in the ass to live in. And I remember I was in that room and I watched Wrestle Kingdom 9. Which I believed had a headline match. It was one of the many matches that they had in their saga between Hiroshi Tanahashi and Kazuchika Okada was the headliner. And JR was on commentary, and that was also the show that Jeff Jarrett tried to fucking take credit for, which Global Farce Wrestling.
Yeah.
Wasn't
a certain Canadian heel also on that show?
I believe Kenny Omega was, yes. I don't know if that's the one you were referencing, but I know Kenny Omega is Canadian and was a heel.
Yes, he is the guy I'm talking about.
He is also
how I discovered New Japan.
I discovered New Japan, and I watched him, and then I saw AJ on there. I'm like, oh shit, I forgot AJ's in this. This must be the company he works for, New Japan. And I believe he's wrestling. I don't think it was a Bushi. I want to say It was Tetsuya Naito or it was Hiromu Takahashi. It was one of the two.
This would have been in what year?
WrestleMania, Wrestle Kingdom 9, I believe that would have been 2015. Like
Damn, it wouldn't
right
have been
at the beginning.
It wouldn't have been Shinsuke then, because I think he was on his way out.
No, that was the following year. That was 2016. That was Wrestle Kingdom 10. That was the one that had the fucking. Oh wait. Yeah, no, that was it. Yeah, that was the one that had that. I believe that also had freaking Hiroshi Tanahashi and Okada on there. I believe. I don't know. They all blend together in the early days when I started discovering New Japan, but I do remember that was the first show I watched, and yeah, and it was kind of like the same with NXT and Ring of Honor. It's just like, oh, I hear people talking about it so much, it must be a great product, and sure enough, they're right. And yeah, it's just one of the best shows I think I've ever been to, and actually, I'll close it off with that because that's like one of the better things with that, but. You discovered Kenny Omega. You discovered New Japan because of Kenny Omega. What match was it?
Which Wrestle Kingdom was the first time he fought Okada?
Wrestle Kingdom 11.
I saw the Access TV replay of that, and I went,
Ah, that's right.
fuck.
Right, that was back when they were on Access.
Yep.
I miss those days. I wish they still were on Access, but I understand you can't have so much wrestling, I guess, on an... Actually, no, I don't. Fuck you, Access. Fuck you, Don. But why? Why you do this? Or maybe it's not even Don's fault, but fuck you, whoever's the president of Anthem Sports. You fucks. Sorry, a little tangent there.
Yeah. Well, on a bright note to close things off, going back to Ring of Honor briefly,
Yeah.
and again, back to the best in the world post-night.
Yeah, go for it.
You mentioned meeting Bully Ray in the parking lot.
Yes.
Bully Ray was not the only superstar we met in that parking lot.
Yes, Marty fucking Scroll. That was
We
cool,
met
too.
Marty Scurll the night at post-TV tapings.
We got
in the
over
parking.
with him because we came up with the chant, "That's the sound of Marty!" Woo!
Whoop, whoop.
Oh my god. If anybody has ever heard of the... I forget what the song is, but...
Something
"That's
about the sound of the police.
Whoop, whoop! And everybody... Anytime he would come out, everybody would go, whoop, whoop! So I turned it into... "That's the sound of Marty! Whoop, whoop!" And then the whole crowd, the small crowd that was there,
Yeah.
started chanting along. And then we got it over with him. Like, that's cool. I think I might use that.
That's actually fucking cool, mate.
Yeah, it really was. So yeah, no, he's also another guy that is tremendously grateful for everything he has is Marty.
Yes.
He was so humble, and we got to take a picture
so
with him
generous,
too.
so generous with his time. God bless that man.
Yeah, yeah. And everybody's like, I don't know what the hell happened, by the way, with the what was it, the Speaking Out movement. I know he was one of the people accused, but I don't know if he got acquitted or not. I think he did, because otherwise if that were true, I couldn't imagine him, getting a program going on with, I believe is that all this? I don't know. Somebody on NWA, I'd imagine.
I forget he's on NWA now.
Yeah, he's on NWA, Ring of Honor still. He's got Villainous Enterprises going on.
Yep.
Good shit. By the way, just a recommendation. If you're listening to this, Marty, get Vinny Marcellia in your group, or AKA Vincent.
Yes.
He would fit so fucking well in that group. Anyway, that's beside the
That
point.
aside,
So, did we talk about every other company? I'm pretty sure we did, right?
yeah, that's all the companies.
So, I'll close it off with this before we call it a night. Since we were talking about shows that we've been to live and how we discovered them and wanted to continue watching them. I had the greatest... Thank you, Johnny Starr, obviously, for this. I had the greatest night of... or greatest weekend of wrestling in my life.
In New York City.
In New York City. First off, New York City in and of itself is a mind fuck.
Tell me
like,
about it.
in person. Because you always see on TV, but, like, it's so much different when you're there in person. The fucking
can
place
confirm.
is huge.
Can confirm.
Absolutely massive is New York City. And I couldn't believe just how great it was. Get this chilling out. We're going to the Franklin Park Zoo, all this stuff. We're in the courtyards of the park. I have my first hot dog.
Don't you mean the Central Park Zoo?
Central Park Zoo, whatever the fuck. Franklin Park, Central Park, they're all the same.
Parks. All the parks.
All the parks. They're all the fucking same. Anyway, it's all a bunch of green, and one may have a zoo, may not have a zoo in them. But anyway, I remember when we got off of our lift.
Half of the state of New York is gonna come after us now.
Yeah, right. Exactly. They're gonna hate us. I'm not wicked smart. This is Wrestling with Idiocy, so you're gonna have to deal with it.
Way to tie back into the title of the show.
So we're chilling. We get out of our lift, and like I eat a hot dog for the first time in Fenway. I've never had a better hot dog in my life. So good. I was like, Fenway's is where it's at. Nope, it's New York. Sorry.
Yep. New York.
I know every Bostonian is screaming at me now.
Yep.
But
damn it, New York can do hot dogs.
Dude, bro, they split. What they do is genius, by the way.
Don't they split the hot dogs?
They split the hot dog open, and then they put the condiments on, and then they squeeze it all together so it oozes around the dog, and I'm like, maximum yes. Maximum yes. Phenomenal fucking hot dog. And they cook the hot dogs very well as well. And they toast your buns.
Take that how you will.
Yes. I mean, I've heard of chestnuts roasting on open fire, but I've never heard of ass cheeks roasting on an open fire. But no. So we.
I've heard of chestnuts roasting on an open fire, but ass cheeks? That's a new one on me.
So we get to our hotel. Great hotel, by the way. We go just to check in. Then we call another lift because we have to get to the show in Brooklyn. It's NXT TakeOver. Everybody says New York, but I'm going to call it Brooklyn 5. The final one up to this point. And, we're heading to TakeOver Brooklyn 5. And we meet, the first person we meet that is somewhat of a celebrity is
Simon Miller.
No, actually, it was Adam Cleary from What Culture. He was doing NXT TakeOver coverage. I think he was doing a pre-show, and he was recording it. And I believe it was a live stream or whatever the fuck. I don't know. And I was like, I looked at him. He actually interviewed me. I don't know. I know I can find that clip somewhere, but he does interview me. And that was cool. I was on What Culture twice in the span of one weekend. But yeah, I was there. It was awesome.
Did you get to plug WIW to him?
I did not get to plug WIW to him, but I did to Simon. But we'll get to that. So obviously, around that same time, I think the week prior, you and I and Mike and Sean on a different day
had all gone to PAX.
We all gone to PAX, and we were passing out business cards. So I'm also passing out business cards to other people just randomly. And yeah, we're chilling out, and I'm like, I'm there.
It's like, we're out of cards. We need more.
Yeah, no shit. But yeah, I was like, I watched, what was it? I'm there, and I'm looking at, I hear the Fabian Eichner's music go off because I know my boys, Marcel Barthel and Fabian Eichner, were on the tapings. So I'm like, we gotta go. I gotta watch these boys. I gotta watch my boys. And we all go there, and we're watching them. Great fucking psychology between those two, by the way.
Now, are they facing each other, or are they partners?
No. They were partners in the ring.
Okay.
They were partners in the ring.
Who were they going up against? Do you remember?
I believe they were going up against... that's a good question. I don't even remember. I'll be honest with you.
Well,
But that was,
don't worry
I
about
know
it.
it was a good match. I just know I wanted to see my boys in action.
Yeah.
Then the pay-per-view starts, and I just hear Disturbed's Evolution theme. I lost my mind there. Already in the beginning of the show, I'm blowing my lawns out because of fucking Disturbed.
Now, is it the song Evolution?
It is, no, Are You Ready?
Ah.
Are You Ready? Our show theme for WYW.
Are you ready?
And I'm like, watching the preview package, I'm like, already hyped for the show. The first match they kick it off with is Ricochet and Aleister Black versus the War Raiders. Fucking amazing match.
Yep.
Great opener. All the way to the main event. Again, another show that was great from top to fucking bottom. Even the undercard prior to the actual show was pretty damn good. And I see the greatest babyface comeback in history with Johnny Gargano.
Which I have since watched, and I cannot disagree.
Dude.
It's a fucking amazing show.
Bro. Fucking mental. I went mental.
That was the night Johnny Gargano finally made good.
He finally won the NXT championship. First off, keep in mind, he fought off against all odds. He got put through a table. He had interference. He got hit with every finisher.
Wasn't the Undisputed Era involved?
Yes, they were. And by the time the interference spot happened, I'm like, oh no, they're gonna end it like this. No,
Cover.
not like
Two.
this. And even Johnny, who was rooting for Cole, is like, no, I really hope not. And then he fucking kicked out.
And you go,
what? Bro, I went, what? What?
You went full Don West.
Bro.
You went full Don West.
I went full Don West. I'm spazzing like an epileptic in the fucking chair because I'm taken aback. And then I see him win, and I'm like, holy shit. He wins the title. He holds the title up in his hair, in the air. What a fucking moment. That was live. And then he goes up to the ramp with Candace, and then out comes Ciampa.
And then out comes Tommaso Ciampa.
Here's the best part of this. I see two kids near me. And one has a Ciampa shirt,
and
another one has a Gargano shirt. And they were there to see that. They were there to see those guys, and you knew the kid wearing the Ciampa shirt had to have been heartbroken because Ciampa had a neck injury. And then he came out, and then they both were gasping. And then Ciampa starts laughing and then hugging Gargano, and then the kids hug with the mom, and they were crying. And I'm like, fuck.
What a great moment.
Dude, that's wrestling. That's wrestling right there.
That is wrestling.
Honest to God, that was so good. And then the next show, which was the G1 Supercard. Fucking.
Now was it before or after this show you got to plug to Simon Miller?
This was the show I got to plug to Simon Miller, and I finally got to see Jushin Thunder Liger live. I always wanted to see. Three masked wrestlers I've always wanted to see. I saw Ray live at a SmackDown house show. And now I saw Jushin Thunder Liger, like, literally, like, he was literally, I think, a year before he was about to retire.
Yeah.
And I got to watch him live. Along with the Great Muta, by the way. Mind fucking a half. And then, of course, Kenny King came in and ruined the whole thing.
Wait, so Jushin Thunder Liger teamed with
No, they did their own Royal Rumble basically for the pre-show, and it was Muta and
AKA Keiji Muto.
Yeah, Keiji Muto and Jushin, and it was an interpromotional battle royal with Japan and Ring of Honor, and it was great. I loved this. By the way, very underrated battle royal, very underrated Royal Rumble that I think everybody should go and watch.
BT Dubs, if I'm not much mistaken, The G1 Supercard event, which James attended, is indeed available on YouTube.
It is. It absolutely is. I
so
would
go watch
and
it.
watch it.
So go watch it.
And you could probably find it also somewhere. Just don't, watch it, pay for it, because they deserve the money.
Yes.
But I was watching it, and I was like, I'm seeing the Great Muta
and
Jushin
Jushin Thunder
Thunder
Liger
Liger
in the
live.
same ring.
And then Kenny King came in and ruined it, and I was booing the fuck out of him. He eliminated both of them, and I'm like, you fucker! You ruined the whole match! No, I'm kidding. He was a good heel. Good heat.
Kenny King is a damn good heel.
Yeah, he is.
And I guarantee you, he had to have been feeling that imposter syndrome because you remember the story Undertaker told about throwing Dusty Rhodes over the top rope his first night in WWE?
Yeah.
That had to have been Kenny King the whole way. It's like,
Oh, yeah.
I just threw Jushin Liger and Keiji Muto over the top rope. What the fuck?
Yeah, that's insane. That's fucking funny. But yeah, that was really, really good. That was a good match. And again, from top to bottom, phenomenal show all around. One of the greatest... 3 great moments of that whole show I'll run off here because, you have till 8, so I'll run down them quick. But first off, the Enzo Amore thing, I marked out for, I'll admit. Because I think that dude got fucked.
Yeah.
You can't convince me otherwise. That dude and Big Cass, they both got shafted by the WWE. Unfortunately, we know what happened now.
Yeah.
So, it is what it is. And, after the show, the Ring of Honor booking was a bit questionable. However, one thing, in my opinion, wasn't questionable, but that's because I'm a fucking mark for Matt Taven. But I'll get to that. First was a phenomenal match between Kota Ibushi and Tetsuya Naito.
Dude, that sounds like an encounter and a half.
It was. And they damn near killed each other and necked each other 100 goddamn times. I remember at one point, Kota Ibushi takes a Death Valley fucking driver like a burning hammer on the goddamn apron by Tetsuya Naito. And all I did, for whatever reason after the initial pop had seceded, I screamed, Kota! I don't want to see you break your neck. We love you, okay? Please stop doing it.
We want you to stick around.
Please, protect your neck. Everyone around me started laughing in agreement and also just because of my the sheer comedic timing. And then,
I wonder if it made it onto the recording.
Yeah, and then Kota Ibushi won the Intercontinental Championship, which I'm like, yeah! My boy won! I love Tetsuya, by the way, but God, it was good to see Kota Ibushi get his just due for once.
Yeah.
And then, the 3-way ladder match between Marty Scurll, Jay Lethal, and Matt Taven. I love Jay Lethal. I love Marty Scurll. And I love Matt Taven. I love all 3 of these guys. However, I've seen Jay Lethal win the championship hundreds of thousands of times at this freaking point for the world title. So, I wanted to see either Scurll win the belt or Taven win the belt. So Scurll was like my second.
Taven a little bit more. Yeah, Taven a little bit more so because he's a local boy.
Yes. I remember seeing Matt Taven at the first WCPW show you and I went to. And I couldn't believe I'm seeing him in the co-main event spot for the Ring of Honor World title on the line. And he's in this match, and I'm like, surely they're not going to give it to him. They got to give it to Marty Scurll because he's the bigger star.
Yeah.
But then he does the heel bullshit. He climbs the ladder, and I'm like, no way. Surely not, right? And he pulls
down the
title, and I'm like... I lost my mind. I was like, I'm fucking ecstatic. The dude I saw, I believe in his first match at Top Rope Promotions, and he wins the fucking world title. I literally just saw this guy's career from beginning to end. Well, not the beginning to end, obviously.
You saw his journey to the top.
But I saw his journey to the top, and I'm like, holy shit! That was so good! Now, obviously, fuck Ring of Honor's booking afterwards, because, god damn it, that was atrocious. But, god damn, was I happy he won that belt. That was so cool. Such an awesome, cathartic moment, and we were the only three, I guarantee you, in the goddamn building that cheered for Matt Taven to win. Everyone else vehemently booed. But I was so ecstatic that he won. I was so happy that he won. And then in the main event, obviously, Jay White. Everybody was like, Jay White, he's not going to win. Like, Jay White hasn't been a good IWGP champion. I'm like, you watch, Okada's going to change your mind. Sure enough, 5-star match I see with Okada and fucking Jay White. Phenomenal main event. Phenomenal. Not as good as the ending moment between Gargano and Cole, mind you, but still awesome main event, and I saw people's opinions turn around. Great main event.
And let's not forget another fabulous match. Maybe a little, maybe getting a little bit on in uses later on down the line, but fucking Tanahashi and Zack Sabre Jr., man, had to have been an incredible match.
Yes, for the Rev Pro heavyweight belt, yes. I love Zack Sabre Jr. Everybody hates him for some reason. I love Zack Sabre Jr. I think his method of attack is great. Phenomenal.
He's probably the greatest submission wrestler in today's industry.
He is. Dude, could you have imagined the match between him and Dean in his prime? Could you imagine?
Fuck off.
The men of 1,000 holds right there. That would have been the only thing that I think honestly could have probably topped Angle and Benoit, or at least rivaled it.
Yeah.
Just those two alone, but yeah, can't have them all. Beggars can't be choosers, and industry has wear and tear, so sad.
So yeah.
But after the show, we're promoting WYW Immortal, which ironically was a month before the show was about to happen. How insane is that?
Yeah, so, a month after the show.
A month after the show, pretty much, yeah. And by the way, a month after that, AEW.
Yeah.
So it's like, what the fuck is going on? I'm seeing all this great wrestling all of a sudden.
Oh, fuck, AEW, that's the one company we didn't cover.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, Double or Nothing.
Yeah, it's pretty simple.
That's when we discovered it.
I walked in on Dustin versus Cody.
You came in at the perfect fucking time.
You are not just whistling Dixie, boyo.
And by the way, the greatest moment of all time this year, or last year, whatever it fucking was, Jon Moxley's fucking debut.
Yes.
Cathartic as hell. Finally, he's in a company that will actually use him.
Use him properly.
Yeah, exactly. Fucking great debut. How do you like AEW now? Fucking great call. Iconic by JR now. But, yeah, that's beside the point. Everybody probably already knew, because it's relatively new. Mm-hmm. But yeah, fucking great. I love AEW, by the way. As I said, it's really the genesis of AEW starts to bring about our best in the world 2017. But,
yeah.
Yes, we're passing out business cards for our WYW Immortal show. And lo and behold, Johnny spots
Simon Miller.
And we see him, and then we start bowing to him at like a couple of fucking marks.
Yep.
And lo and behold, we are shown on camera on that video. So I was on What Culture twice. I had not seen the Adam Cleary one. I absolutely saw the Simon Miller one because of the fucking hilarity of us bowing down to the man. And we talked to him after he was done filming Ups and Downs, live from New York, after the G1 Supercard show. And I gave him a business card. And shockingly, after I gave him the business card and gave everybody else the business card that night of WYW, the show is now about, I think, has since, at this point, broken 1,000 views on your channel and has got over 2,000 views overall. which is fucking insane. So, yeah, I would probably say 2019
Was a good year.
was a good goddamn year. Absolutely a great freaking year. And by the way, yes, I can officially confirm your upload has officially broken 1,000 views with 1,009.
What the fuck?
Right there. Look at that. Fucking nuts. So there we go. I'm sure it will increase by the time I check again, and I'm sure this is going to be like released way later anyway, but yeah, that show was released. It was a fucking year, man. That year was a fucking trip and a half.
Yeah.
Because of all the good shit that happened pretty much that year.
G1 Supercard, Double
Yeah.
or Nothing, all the business cards we passed out, the 5-year dream finally realized.
Yeah, fucking NXT TakeOver, Brooklyn 5. Just fucking great. Just great all around. I gotta tell you.
Spring of 2019 was probably the best time three of us have had together.
Yeah, I would agree. I would say right around it really topped off with All Out last year at Chris Dodd's house. Great time. Except for Cardiff. We don't talk about that shit.
We don't talk about Cardiff. Probably should have stuck to watching Royal Quest.
Yeah, exactly. I wish we did. Which we did, I think, after the fact.
We did watch after the fact. Good show.
Yeah, great show. Definitely out of the two, Cardiff doesn't even come close. But anyway, that's beside the point. But yeah, all in all, those are how we started becoming wrestling fans, and all the way to where we are wrestling fanatics.
Yes.
AKA marks. We're just marks.
Yep.
Okay, and we admit it. We're wrestling with idiocy. So
we happily admit our markdom.
All right, I think that's everything, right? We didn't.
I believe so. Yes.
We didn't talk about AEW too much in depth, but I mean,
there's how far in depth do you really need to go?
Yeah, it's a year old. By the way, it's great.
Go watch
It's current. We talk about the current shit anyway. You want to know my thoughts on it? Check out the Hibiki TMD on the Alternative. Check out the Indie Force. Check out Wrestling Rundown, which is coming back. It is probably back by now by the time you're listening to this. We talk about it. All on there. On those shows. Do it. And we talk about NXT. On the NXT Team Show. And also on the Indie Force somewhat. And probably on the Rundown. Do it. Watch it. Leave a like. Do the thing. But yeah. You close out the show because I'll suck at closing it off. But yeah. Just wanted to tell that story because I thought it was fun.
And thus, with memories encased in diamond and laid bare for all to see, the two morons retreat back into their respective caves to wait for the next topic to draw them from their slumber. Or they could sleep through it because, their alarms don't fucking work. Good night, everyone.
Oh, good shit. That was funny. That was a good ending.